going on, vlog? It's been a minute. It is currently, I think it's June 2nd, 2025. So it's been a few years since I've clocked in. I don't remember the last one of where I left off. I think it was 2022, maybe early, mid, I don't remember. But just to cover everything of what the last 2.5, 3 years have been. And where I'm at now, and yeah, let's talk about it. So I just got done working out. Just did some push-ups. So yeah, back to my calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups kind of roots, boxing and stuff. And yeah, I think I left off in 2022 when I was talking about maybe my breakthroughs, maybe being at the old place that I was at. I don't remember, but I'll start from like May of 2022 and the end of that. So if I can remember correctly, back then, so 2022, I think I finished my stunt training. I just had came back from California, doing the stunt thing that I did, the short, and then I was doing some things with Noah and them. And then I got back about a month later. I started teaching the stunts to make some money. Actually to cancel classes. So I was paying for classes, acting classes, and I was like, hey, they're kind of expensive. What if I teach and in exchange I don't pay any of the classes and stuff? So that started happening. So I started teaching like June of 2022. I was doing that for a little bit. And then that same year, I think I booked a short film opening night. Played a character outside of my normalcy, like my comfort zone at the time. Just wanted to see if I could attest to being an actor who, says they can play anything. So I played that character. It was a very good, time, couple days shoot, and stuff on YouTube. If you guys want to check it out, I have it on the description. It's called Opening Night. Very good short film in 2022. And then I don't remember anything else I did that was like super significant that year. I just spent a lot of time training. I was going to classes like 5-6 times a week, as much as I could. Just being obsessed with getting better, obsessed with trying to figure out, how to connect to characters and subtext and, everything that you need in order to connect to a character. And then end of 2022 hits. And I think that was the only like really big thing that I was doing. And then beginning of 2023 happens. I was with an agent and a manager at that time, but I think a couple months into 2023, we went separate ways because I was going to a showcase and I was prepping for, potentially coming out of that showcase with something better agents or managers or just, higher quality stuff. So I spent like the first I think 4 or 5 months of 2023 training for that in terms of physicality, all the categories I was a part of and all that, and just doing some intense training for that. Went to the showcase, did decently well. And then I got my first agent out of that, who I'm still with today. And they've been great. I've had a lot of good opportunities from them, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Some things have been crazy. Anyway, so I got them, and then the strike was happening around that time as well. So the rest of that year was kind of silent until the fall of 2023. Yeah, I don't think I got anything else that year. 2023 was a pretty slow year for, I'm assuming, most people as well. Fall of 2023, I do another showcase. No, I don't. I do cold submissions. That's what it was. Okay, so I cold submit. I'm sending out emails to a bunch of different agents and managers because the agency that I got from the showcase, they rep me from Texas and kind of like the South Central area. And I wanted to see if I can get an LA agent to help me with more opportunities, and just those really good ones that we're all looking for as actors and stuff. And so I was cold submitting to a bunch of places, and I ended up submitting to the agency that I'm with now. Their names are Image Powerhouse. They're really nice. And then the Texas agency I have is Blanco Agency. Very good agency. So yeah, so I'm cold submitting to a bunch of different places, to a bunch of different agencies and managers, trying to just, just get anything that I can in order to increase the, quantity and quality of auditions that I'm getting. I end up cold submitting for one, and I get some interest. And it was a little shocking for me because the agency that was interested is not one that represents my demographic. They're specialized in other demographics for actors and talents and models and stuff like that. So when I first submitted to them and they had the interest, and I did like a monologue for them and everything like that, I passed that, and then we went to the interview section, and I'm talking with the onboarding person, and I'm like, we're having a conversation, I'm getting to know them, and I'm like, hey, just out of genuine curiosity, why are you guys interested in someone like me? Because I'm not, in line with who you guys really go for. And they told me that my materials are good, and I have the talent to, potentially get some things with them. So I was like, okay, I signed with them in the fall of 2023, and it was great. It was absolutely amazing. I think maybe right before or like right when I signed with them, I started keeping track of my auditions, like every time I got one, the dates and what it was and all that. So yeah, 2023, I get my 2 agents, and then 2024 was a good year. 2024 was a good year, okay? It was a pretty good year. So beginning of 2024, I just said the beginning. Beginning of 2024, we have this studio, this local film studio production company move here, and the casting director for that comes to the school that I was at, right? So I was at the school that I was going to, I was teaching at and everything like that. He comes to the school and watches, the talent perform at the advanced level and everything like that, sees interest in me, and then has me audition for one of their local films that they're doing around that same time. So I do that, and I do well. It's going really, really well and everything like that. I get to the point where I actually almost book it, right? And I hadn't booked something at least to that caliber, and it's been like a year or a year and a half since I've really booked anything, because I can't really remember if I did anything 2023. I don't think so. I think it was just a lot of training and being patient, which is, name of the game. Anyway, so 2024, I had the audition, a really good one, and I get so close to getting it, I get pinned, right? And it comes down to a vote. It's like me and this other guy, and the casting directors let me know and stuff. And at the end of it, he says that it came down to a majority vote, and I lost it 3-2. I think there was like 5 people, 3-2. Majority vote went to the other guy, so he ended up getting it. And I was like, man, it was a tough day. It was a tough day. Some tears were shed or whatever it may be, because I was like, dang, I was so close to getting something that was of decent caliber in my eyes, and we get that close to only not get it. So another month or so goes by, and the same casting director comes back, and there's another film that they're doing, and they're having it's the same procedure, auditions, self-tapes, and everything's going well, and I get called to the director-producer session. So for that first one, I did the same thing, director-producer session, chemistry reads, all the things that you normally do before they said, decide who they want for that part. So same thing's happening with this second film that happened about a month or so later, and I'm at the director-producer session. So I'm going to director-producer session, I'm prepping for the audition, and I go in and I do my thing. So I go in, I do the thing, and the casting director at this point in time, I would say we were starting to build a relationship. We were starting to really get to know each other kind of on a personal level-ish, to the point where when I left my first session, he came out and he said, hey, get your shit together because you're losing it, right? So I was, at that point in time, when you're at the director or the producer session, it's a good place to be, right? Because that means they like you, they've seen the tapes, and everything is relatively in a good spot. So he comes out and he's like, the first read was not good. You need to be stronger. You need to be stronger. You need to be, you need to do your shit. So I was like, okay, took my 5 minutes. You had more people come in and out. And then I got called in again for another, it was chemistry reads, right? Chemistry reads, it was like an improv session. It was a big learning curve. So I go in there, I do it again, and it's just a complete improv scene, like no script. So the director, he just says improv it and go. So it's me and 3 other people, and I was told to be strong. And at that point in time, I feel like I was trained pretty well. I just took over the scene. I was, reaching over, grabbing people, hey, making noise, da 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 da, and then leading to an end point where we all get out the car and leave and stuff like that. And I got myself back in the race from doing that, to the point where the director said, "You're coming on a little too strong." That's not the character. He's not that strong. He's not the leader of this posse, of this group. But I heard be strong, so I went in there and I, did my version of strong as best as I could in what I was feeling and stuff like that. So that happens. We do it again. I think I do maybe a couple more chemistry reads or something like that. I think I have a solo audition at some point as well. And then that's the end of it. Then a few days go by, maybe a week or so. I'm getting nervous because it's down to me and one other person. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna get my hopes up or anything like that. And then casting director calls me and he says, "Congratulations, you got the part." That's right, yeah, we got it. So the movie that I had booked early in 2024 was called Paralysis, and as of this recording, it's looking to be coming out at some point later in the year. It's already been gone through post-production and coloring and what's the word I'm looking for? Cover photo, all that stuff. I'm put up right here for you guys. You see that? If you zoom in, you can see somebody's face in that reflection. Anyway, so yeah, that's all done. We're gonna see what happens later on, and maybe I'll come back and update you guys on how that happens. Anyway, so I booked that. We shoot it. It's a big win for me. It's the first time doing a film of that level. The director for that was Louis Mandylor. He was absolutely amazing to work with. Everybody there was awesome to work with. All the cast, the producers, ADs and makeup, and everybody was just super nice. And it was really, really fun. The biggest thing for me for that was learning to be ready to improv. Know your character, because there's a lot of times Louis came in and we did a scene or two, or we did the script the way it was supposed to be done, and then he would come and be like, just forget the script. I haven't seen the whole movie yet. I don't know what it looks like, but from what I've been told, some of the things that I did when told to improv, that he came in there and told us to do it, led me to having more moments and bigger opportunities to shine and stuff. So I'm excited to see how that looks and everything. But I definitely learned a lot on set, learning from somebody who kind of just lets you play. He kind of just lets you be in the moment and do what you want and stuff like that. One of the biggest things in terms of it wasn't tough. Well, it was very tough, but it wasn't like excruciating, I guess. So I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm in a cage at some point. I'm just gonna say that I'm in a cage, right? And the cage is dangling, and my legs are also dangling from this thing. So they're doing something to me to get something set up, right? The setup for this, I'm sitting in a metal cage with my legs on the metal bars, hanging, right? So my legs aren't on the ground, so they're hanging, which means the bottom of my legs are digging into the metal. I was in that cage for probably in total like 10 hours. 10 hours, because we had a scene, we had all this stuff that we had to do for it. And so when I got off the cage and I got back to makeup, my entire back thighs were bruised because I kept shifting my legs on different parts of my legs so it wouldn't hurt as much. It was a long time of just, you gotta meditate, you gotta zen out, you just gotta sit there and do your job. But it was an amazing experience. I 100% enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see how that comes out. So Paralysis was the beginning of 2024. That happened. First big win for me, in my opinion. It was really, really nice. And then summertime came around. I booked a little demo thing. I didn't realize it was such a small thing, but it was still something that I can go out and meet somebody and stuff. So I did that for a little bit. We did a little like comedy shoot thing. And then August of 2024-ish, September, I don't remember exactly, the fall, there's another local film being shot here in Vegas, and I ended up booking that. It was called The Shadows. I have not seen that either. I've seen the trailer for it, but I haven't seen the full thing yet. I don't think it's been released. I know they're trying to get it into the festivals, but I don't think, at least I didn't see it. They were trying to get it into Cannes, but I didn't see it in Cannes. I saw the list, which I'll talk about in a little bit because it was interesting to see some of the choices they made for that. But it was called The Shadows. I went in for the audition for that. I read for one of the other characters, and the director, who was really nice, she was so cool. Loved working with her and everything like that. She had me read for another character, so I went out for about 5 minutes, studied that character. I didn't memorize or anything. I just wanted to see character, how fast I can get their emotion. What is they trying to convey in this scene that she wants me to do? Went in there, I did it. She had me do one redo, did it, booked it, right? Shadows was a fun film to do as well. Wasn't as like high budget as the last one, wasn't in my opinion as big, but it was still really fun experience. And I also got to really experience what it was like to be a lead. Like, it was really good because if I book a lead type role or a series regular role in my next audition, I will be absolutely ready for it. The Shadows was great for prepping me for that and getting me a taste of what that feels like, because for The Shadows, it was a full feature film at maybe 90, 100 pages, something like that. I had probably 60 scenes, 60 to 70, because I was in like the whole movie, 60 to 70 scenes or pages to memorize. So that was a great exercise to, how do I handle that? So for me, I took the scenes, all of my scenes, after reading the script a few times, took all my scenes and I started to like chunk them together, and I would run them like they were scenes for classes, but I had to do like 14 of them or however many there were, right? So I kept doing it over and over again, break all of them down, connect to all of them. What am I doing here? How do I transfer all that stuff? And it was a great exercise for when I get the opportunity to do that at a bigger level. So Shadows happens, and then, I'll talk about it in a little bit. Anyway, I don't want to jump myself just yet. Anyway, so Shadows happens. Next auditions after that, starting to ramp up a little bit. So the agency, the LA agency, they have gotten me a lot of great opportunities, and I'm so grateful for them. They're amazing people. I love them so much. Around the time, I think it was after The Shadows, I had 3 NCIS auditions. 3. So these were for co-star. So this was a big deal. Co-star was the next big step for me, because a co-star role is something I hadn't gotten yet, and it also would signify trust from a network, trust from it's a good credit, and it's what I really needed. Shadows and Paralysis are great, but they're not like, because they're more indie, they're not like, their credits aren't as big as some of these other ones. Like if I got NCIS, even if it was like a line or two, it would be much higher. Not much, it would be higher than, it would be seen higher than the Paralysis movie, than the Shadows movie. But then again, maybe Paralysis does so well that it outshines those things. Anyway, so I did the first NCIS audition, and I got pinned. I got pinned right away, which was great. It was fantastic. I was like, well, that's crazy. They ended up passing on me, so I was like, oh, okay, well, that sucks, but it happens. Then I get a second one, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I do a second one, don't hear anything. Then I do a third one, don't hear anything again. But I take it as a good sign that they wanted to see multiple things. They were trying to find a way to get me in, but I wasn't cutting it or whatever it may be. But it was just interesting to see that I had 3 NCIS auditions pretty close together. So like there was like the Origins show, I think is what it was like. Origins is what they were trying to work on, the regular NCIS, and then a regular again. Something like that. So that was cool to see, and I was like, man, I got, again, close to the next step, which was, co-star level. And I got a little bummed out, and a couple months go by, and then I get another co-star audition. And this one is for a sitcom called Happy's Place. And I've never heard of it. I looked it up. It was Reba McEntire's new show, and I used to watch Reba when I was younger with my mom back in the day. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I had no idea she had a new show or anything like that. So I do the audition, and because it's a multi-cam sitcom, I spend a lot of time with the audition. It took me like 2.5 hours to do like a page and a half, because being word perfect is tough. So, like, you gotta be on point. You can't even like slightly get it off. I wanted to at least impress, at least like show my chops. So like if I don't get it, okay, well, maybe they'll remember me for something else. That's always my goal with my auditions. So took me 2.5 hours to do that. If You know, my friend can attest to how long it took me. She was dying in the background, like, bro, just get it. 2.5 hours to get it. It was like a Tuesday night. Wednesday, the next day, I was pinned again. So Wednesday, I was pinned, right? So I was like, okay, cool, another pin. That's a great sign. I love it. I'm not gonna get my hopes up because of what happened with NCIS. So I'll just kind of let it ride out. And then later on that day, like maybe like a few hours later, I got an offer. And I had booked my first legit co-star credit in, I think it was October, maybe November. No, I think it was the same week because, or maybe the week before that. I don't remember when exactly, but it was the first co-star one I booked. They were trying to get it down fast because they had the episode coming up really fast. And yeah, it was absolutely insane. So I booked Happy's Place, a co-star. I think it was the same week or the next week after that, I don't remember, but I went there on a Thursday. You know, got a hotel because, you know, I'm saying, trying to make it work out here. And, you know, that Friday I meet Reba and all the cast, and I get my script, and it was really cool. I had like my own like mini trailer thing, which is fine. You know, I don't anything too fancy. It was just, I was just happy to be there. And meeting everyone, they were so nice and very like inclusive. So I was like, I think it was like breakfast or something, and I was sitting at, if you guys ever watch a show, there's a bar. So there's a bar for the main show, and I was sitting on that bar, like one of the stools, and eating and stuff. And they're like, yeah, come on over here. And they're asking about me and stuff. And they're just really nice people. Everybody that I met was super nice, super chill. And it was a really, really fun time. I originally, for the show, had 2 scenes. One of my scenes got cut down. So I only ended up getting one, but it's hey, that's good enough for me. I had my scene with Reba and Melissa Escobedo, I believe is the other lead. And they were very, very nice people. Easy to play off of, chill. It was just super, super fun. I was nervous for sure. You know, I was a little nervous from like my first like take for the rehearsals. But as I got, even on the shoot days, I was pretty nervous. Like maybe the first take. You know, everybody was nice. The dialogue coach was nice. The directors, everybody was super, super chill. Like on a professional level, that is like the best first experience ever. Like that is probably what if everyone who's trying to be an actor can go through that, I would recommend it because it was so humbling and a warm environment. I mean, the executive producers were even nice, and some of the writers I talked to, and everybody was just cool. Everybody was just really, really nice, and you know, it was just really fun. And you know, I hear season 2 has been renewed. So hey, if you guys need a doctor again, let me know. Also, if you guys haven't, I'll play the clip real quick for you guys.
Well, all the test results came back normal, so we're getting his discharge papers ready.
Great. I bet you're thrilled that I rushed him down here in an ambulance, aren't you?
Well, I'm not sure an ambulance was exactly necessary.
Let's just keep that between us, okay?
So, what was wrong with him?
I can't give you his private medical info, but I am allowed to point out that, he's old.
So yeah, you know, so for me, when I book things or when I get a job, not that I'm like super serious, but like it doesn't hit me that I'm there until after, because I want to do a good job. I want to get there and I want to be like, hey, the guy that did his job and can come back and do it again if needed. That's the guy that I want it to be. So for me, I just kind of locked in. I was just like, whatever I need to do to hit these lines and, you know, figure out the timing between Reba and Melissa and just trying to mesh and make that scene work with them is all I really wanted to do, you know. So when I saw it, so it came out, I did it in November, it came out in January. That's when it was surreal. When I saw myself on TV, that was a surreal moment. So I watched it with my friend and her family at the time. And it was a very, very surreal moment. I was like, it was kind of weird. It was very strange. I didn't feel it until I saw myself for real on TV. I was like, that is crazy. And then you can see like the little credits with like co-starring and all that stuff. So it was cool. And then, yeah, so that happened in November, came out in January, beginning of 2025. I hadn't done much. I left the school that I was originally at and went to another one. So I'm there now teaching kind of this like what I know and stuff in terms of like stunts and all that stuff. But it's now June, and this is the what's the word I'm looking for? I think it's like crevice of the, I can't think of the word, but we're at the point of the video or the vlog now. I haven't booked anything since Happy's Place. Okay, so back in late September, October, I haven't booked anything this year. And I've gotten close calls. So let's talk about my auditions and some of the things I want to talk about. I know this is a much longer vlog because I'm trying to take 3 years and put it into one video. So recently the Karate Kid Legends movie just came out, right? A year ago, I auditioned for that. So the role of Connor, my agency, the LA agency that I had previously gotten a few months ago, was able to pitch me for that, which was crazy. Because like I think what happened was, I think the casting director or maybe the associate saw me, and forgot to send it out. So my team reached out again, and they're like, "Oh yeah," and they said send material in, which was amazing, right? And I wish I had it now, or like some of the things that I know. Like, there's only so much I can do because I think with certain agencies and also with already established actors who have some really, really good credits, right? You're battling against them in a very big budget, Jackie Chan, Ralph Macchio, big name, stars and stuff, and you're going to be going up against the best and the best. So it would be a tough battle for me to win. Not saying I don't have a shot, but it would have been tough. So a year ago, I auditioned for Karate Kid Legends, and obviously I didn't get it. And it's just interesting because there was another audition I did last year called Eddington, right? And that was from my Texas agency. I think it was actually the first one they got me, which was crazy. No, it was the first one I had interest in. So I had an audition for a movie called Eddington. Because remember, Shadows was supposed to go to Cannes, so I looked at Cannes to see which movies made it in. And I don't know how the film festival works. I'm not super keen on it in terms of like the ranking, but I'm assuming one of the more prominent movies was Eddington. It seemed to be one of the more prominent movies. And Eddington, went to Cannes, and it was another one that I auditioned for. For me, both roles that I auditioned for was taken by two people, and fair shot, fair. All's fair in love and war. They got it. Big, congrats to them. But they're both from Gersh. For me, the Gersh agency seems to like have my booty. When I go for like some of these big roles, it seems like the people from Gersh is the ones that I get beat out from. It was so funny to see that. Like the Karate Kid guy who got it, I think his name is Aramis Knight. He has a resume and a half. I mean, that's tough to beat, right? And he seems really cool. I'm sure it'd be great to work with him and everything like that. But he got the role for the Karate Kid, and he's from Gersh. And then the Eddington one makes more sense because the character, now I'm like all over the place now. The character is supposed to be Latino, Hispanic, and from some of my photos I can pass off as Hispanic and Latino. I guess you wouldn't be able to know I guess my voice would not assist me with that. Anyway, so the character was the son of Pedro Pascal's character. So it kind of makes sense, I don't look that kind of look, I guess. But it was interesting because I was told by my agency at the time that they had interest in me for that role. So I was like, oh, I didn't hear anything after that, but that's what they told me. They said I had interest for Eddington. So I was like, that's interesting. So at least I impressed somebody. I did well enough to get that. So maybe, this year they'll bring me back for something. That'd be really cool to do. But those are two really big auditions. I've had a lot this year. 2025 has been interesting as well. So I've had, again, I tracked my auditions. I think I've had 15 so far in the last 6 months or 5 months because we just got the beginning of June. So I've had 15. I would say at least 10 of those were pretty good stuff. You know what I mean? Like really good stuff. And out of those, I think I had 3 callbacks, 3 or 4. I had 2, 3 callbacks and a pin. So I had one for a film being shot in New Mexico. It wasn't like a big SAG budget or anything like that, but it was a really cool film. Like I would have loved to have been a part of it. I got the audition, I did the audition, I killed the audition, I got the callback right away, and I felt like I did really well in the callback, the Zoom callback as well, but I just didn't get the part for whatever reason. So, and then there was a couple of other ones that the casting director from Paralysis was doing a couple of auditions for, some things that were decent level or something like that, because we are on a more personal level now, so I can ask him like, hey, he knows like where I'm at in my career, and so I asked him like, if it's worth it for me to do it. I don't want to do any more like short films or anything that's like too kind of like things I've already done, the things that won't get me to the next step. So he said no, they're worth it. So I did the things that he brought in, like the live auditions. I did those. I got the callbacks for those, but I haven't heard anything about that. And then there was another thing shooting here in Vegas. I think it was a Christmas movie, and the character was like a frat boy who also had to be experienced in stunts. And I was like, this is perfect for me. Who's gonna do that, right? So I did the audition. I got the pin, right? I got the pin. I got the callback. Did the Zoom callback, and I felt fine with it. Like, I'm not gonna say I felt like I killed it, not like with the other one for the New Mexico one, but I felt like I did really well. I felt like I did really well for it, but I guess maybe, they were going for a different look or whatever decision was made for that, and I didn't get that one either. And then, I've done a Disney audition, I've done a series regular audition. I did my first series regular audition maybe a month ago, so that was huge. I've never done a series regular audition. That was crazy. So things are looking up in terms of my strides, but it's like tough right now for me because I haven't booked anything in 5 months, 6, 7, since like October. So what is that? 7 months. So, I'm hoping to get at least something this year. And for me, whatever it is for that next thing, if it's SAG, it's just got to be really good, because got to pay the fees and all that stuff that's going to be coming with it. I'm living in a new place now, so I got to pay rent and all that. Got to make sure I don't bankrupt myself trying to be an actor. But then again, I mean, are you really an actor if you're not trying to bankrupt yourself? Yeah, and then I think that's not it. There's something else. I know this has gone on a lot, and if you guys are still watching, kudos to you, man. Appreciate y'all. There was something else I wanted to say. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just close it out with this. For me, I've been spending a lot of time thinking about my dreams, right? And not to the sense, I don't think I ever think to the point where I will like actually not pursue them anymore. But I do question my sanity from time to time. So I have my dream with acting and becoming a working actor and making that a reality. And then I also have my dream with my YouTube, with my laptop that I do. And both of those things pay for my livelihood now. I have my rent, I have my bills. It's affordable-ish for me, right? I can handle it, and they're both paying for my livelihood. And then I'm thinking, not like, can I do it? But like, there's almost like this question of like, am I sane? Should I be doing this? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's hard. Like I was working out, and I was thinking about this while I was working out, and I was like, let me try to remember it before I forget. And then I get to the end here after I tell you guys what happened, and I totally forgot what I wanted to say. I just know that I'm sure people that are pursuing things, it doesn't have to be acting, it can be anything, businesses, entrepreneurship, you want whatever, right? You do it for so long that you feel like maybe you are a little insane. I mean, not the camera, so I'm talking about. Maybe you are a little insane. I'm really questioning myself of like, I don't want to say it like I'm doubting that it can happen, because I know it can. I just have to persevere long enough for it to happen. But sometimes it feels like, is it gonna happen? It's like the dream that I have of my YouTube and the Dynasty Warriors side of it. And I don't know if I've talked about that before on this vlog, but that whole separate dream is a whole nother thing in itself. That is a tough dream, to become the owner of a Japanese franchise. You're like, damn, like, it makes me think, am I actually insane? Should I continue to pursue it? Of course, looking in the future of, visioning the success of that, like actually being the owner, actually being a working actor, whatever that entails, I can see that and it feels good, and I can see that happening. But the part in between that vision and where I'm at now, it's like, do they ever connect? Will they ever connect? How long will it take for them to connect? Acting is they're both so difficult, but acting is so difficult because, I figured it out. My dad was telling me, because I left the old place that I was at and I'm at a new place now, and he was saying that, hey, do you think that maybe, the old place that you were at was helping you get more stuff? And I was like, no, it's not that. It's because now I've transitioned into this new level. So I'm trying to, because he likes hockey, so I'm trying to get into the NHL now. I'm no longer in the junior leagues overseas, in the KHL, and I'm in the AHL, which is the league above or underneath the NHL, and I'm trying to get to the main roster, right? And how many people play in the NHL? It's like 600 people, right? If that. That is not a lot of people. Even from a holistic professional sports standpoint, it's probably 0.01% of the population that's actually a professional sports player. Maybe 1%. So it's like, I'm now competing, and I'm not saying I wasn't with the Happy's Place and all that, or even Paralysis, but I am now 100%, just based off of who I saw got those roles. I am 100% dealing with now trying to break into the 1%. And that's why it's so difficult now, because I'm no longer swinging for the smaller fences. And there's nothing wrong with those smaller fences, the short films, the student films, the indie films. Those are all great, right? But for me, I want to be a working actor. And I want to be able to build enough credibility and, enough status on my name, so that way, at least if I'm not well known in the public, I'm well known within the industry to continuously get auditions so I can continue to get jobs, right? I love acting. It is my favorite thing to do in the world. I was shooting a stunt reel yesterday with a friend of mine. She needed something for her reel, and we went out there. I just made something up and we shot it. It took about 3 hours. And she was like, man, I haven't done something like this in a while. She was gassed out, but for me, I was just having so much fun. I could do it for another 8 hours, right? My neck's hurting right now because I didn't stretch properly and all that, but I'm like, I would go back today and do it again, because I love it so much, and I want it to be a reality for me. Even if I'm only making a working living wage, right, 50, 60K a year from it, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. For me, that's what I want. Of course, when I get there, I'm gonna want more, because I am very aware of the ambitious nature in me and everything like that. So, but yeah, it's just, there's times that, especially now, 7 months, a lot of auditions, callbacks, pins, close calls. It's like, man, right before I got Happy's Place, I was thinking, when am I gonna get that first one? I got it. Amazing. Now, when am I going to get that first one for that first big one, right? And I wouldn't say no to another co-star. Another co-star would be cool. I don't know if it would be enough to, deal with the fees of SAG. I'm really hoping that the next one that I do book is something enough to cover those things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I couldn't make it work if it wasn't, or if it doesn't happen that way, but that's what I'm hoping is in the works for me. We'll see what happens. Yeah, my timer's saying 40 minutes on this. I don't know how long it is for you guys or when I edit it, but I'm going to end it here. It is June 2025. This was a 2.5 year catch-up thing. Anyone who's watched this long, I appreciate it. I'll say this, and I say it to people that I come in and that I teach and stuff like that as well. Or I say it sometimes, depending on who I'm talking to, because I don't want to scare people. With acting, and I think a lot of things, but I'll just stick on acting because I know acting pretty well. It's going to take time. I'm coming up on 5 years of doing this. 5 years. When did I start my vlog? Was it September 4th, 2020? 5 years. So September 4th is the day that I got here and I started doing this. And it took me a little over 4 years to get that first co-star role. the co-star role. Now it's already taken another 7 months, and I haven't gotten that next big one. You know what I mean? So whatever you want to do, it's gonna take time, and you'll know if it's something that you really want to do when you are suffering in it. And I mean like the quiet moments, like the moments I'm working out here because I want to stay in shape for what if I get an action audition, what if I get an action role, right? I'm running a lot more now because I'm like, I can't, my stamina has never been that great, so I gotta run now, right? To make sure that my stamina is up and I can do a fight scene for 8 hours if I need to. You know, things like that. And it's tough when you're, you know, because I'm lucky enough to have my dreams right now, you know, paid for my lifestyle. And there's people tons of people that are working and trying to make their dreams come true. And in those quiet moments when you're sitting around and, you know, my YouTube is not my job. My YouTube is like, I sit down instead of just kind of leisurely making videos. I sit down. When I'm not acting, I am sitting down doing YouTube for hours on end. So I can make sure I can, you know, boost my payments and, you know, get enough money each month and everything like that. But in those quiet moments, you know, you really start to think to yourself, is this what I want to do? And for me, I can't see myself doing anything else. I just can't, you know. If I have to, you know, if my job with the teaching acting, and I have to do IT again for a little bit, I'm gonna hate it, but I'm gonna do it like I love it. What's that? That's the sign. That's the saying, right? Hate it, but do it like you love it. That's gonna be me because I want to be an actor. I cannot get to the end of my life and not make it, and not know what it feels like to be a working actor. I don't have to be an A-lister. I don't gotta be Tom Cruise. I don't gotta be, you know, The Rock, you know, big name or anything like that. Ryan Reynolds. I don't have to be that name. I just want to be a working actor. And I know working actors. I know what they look like. They're just normal people, and they make good money doing what they do. That's what I want. That's it. And I have faith that if I keep doing this, it will pay off. It's just tough. 7 months without hearing anything. Not 7 months and getting a bunch of close calls, and then not hearing anything. Because I think it's been a couple weeks now since I've had my last audition. It's tough. These are the moments you sit around and you're like, fuck, man. What's wrong with me? And then I think about my other dream with the Dynasty Warriors thing. I'm like, I don't know if that's possible. You know? And it's not even like just a little segment here. When the Happy's Place thing happened, the Dynasty Warriors people called me. And I got flown out and met the producer of the game and everything like that right before they released a new game. I played it for free. They gave it to me for free, like 3 months in advance before it came out. And you know, I took that as a sign that I'm doing well, but it's like, and that's still a giant mountain I gotta climb. Because yes, they're aware of me, at least from the Western side. They're aware of me, but would they be okay with me getting that close to the franchise, right? And I'm hoping that with my acting prestige, whatever that brings me, I can use that to leverage that other dream. That is my ultimate goal. Those two things becoming a reality. Anyway, guys, I'm going to end it here. That was another extra 5 minutes of rambling. Hope you guys are doing well. If you are an actor yourself and you are pursuing it, good luck. Keep going. Don't give up. Stay in class. Make sure you are training as best as you can. I think people take, you know, they train for a certain amount or they book something and then they stop training. Continue to be sharp. It is tough. And when you get to a certain level, you get to the level that I'm trying to break into. Some people get lucky. Hey, some people get lucky. Less than 1% of people get lucky. They book that first job and they're off to the races. That's less than 1%. For the rest of us, we have to grind. We have to continue to outwork the people. When you do your self-tapes, how can you stand out against the other 100 people that are going against you? All that stuff comes from your training. And I wish you guys luck. And I guess I'll see you guys soon, hopefully. Hopefully it won't be another 3 years. Anyway, appreciate you all, and I will see you on the next one. Later, guys.